calling this the biggest change in education curriculum in 10 years, Chris. So big changes. The government wants students from year one to be digitally savvy. What do you think about this? This is a great initiative, $40 million from the government.
Yeah, look, and I think it's long overdue. I think we're just dipping our toe in the water, really, and actually we should be doing a lot more. The world has changed dramatically in the last, 20 or 30 years, and our education system needs to catch up.
So what more would you do?
Oh, I mean, I think digital literacy is important, but we've got to actually go back and say, why are we still placing so much emphasis on traditional literacy and numeracy to the detriment of everything else, when creativity and problem solving and interpersonal skills are actually really important?
Tracy, is this at the expense of learning to read and write?
No, it's not, but let's get real. Sorry, this is only $24 million of new money, and actually it's not new. All they're doing is, and if you look at the discussion document, they're just moving around the content of the current curriculum into 2 different technology areas, not even the technology areas that the IT industry asked for. So I'm sorry, I'm underwhelmed by the announcement.
Underwhelmed, Matt, that's what Tracy says.
I think, look, as spokespeople for their parties, what they were trying to say is good on Nikki Kay and Hekia Parada for putting money where their mouths are, and hey, that's ambitious and we should celebrate it.
But it's not ambitious though, is it?
It is.
Not that
Our
ambitious.
young people will be educated to go forward and engage in an international competitive world. We need a skilled workforce, and that's they'll engage in digital technologies, they'll go on to be the next robot builders, AI.
They are now.
This is classic National. It's classic National. They do a tiny thing and then look like they're trying to solve a problem.
Yeah.
All they've announced is a consultation, moved a bit of money around. Meanwhile, they cut funding for computers in homes.
Right.
Hundreds of thousands of Kiwi kids don't have access to a computer at home. They're avoiding the big issues.
But it's a step in the right direction, though, isn't it? Getting digitally savvy, getting tech savvy, you know?
Yeah, true, but if we were doing that, we'd be having a conversation, how do we get
no.
computer coding in schools?
They were already doing this. They've just renamed it. You've got to have a look at this discussion document. It contradicts itself in at least 3 different places. We were already doing algorithms and so on and so forth from 5-year-olds and 6-year-olds. All they've done is rename it and made it more visual.
Well, Nikki Kay, I'll go to the audience very, very short, but Nikki Kay says that there's potential here, Chris, for digital technologies to reduce teacher workload.
Look, I think you've got to be a bit cautious about that. I think the biggest way to reduce teacher workload is to reduce the level of compliance that they have to do. The amount of form filling they've got to do to satisfy government accountability requirements, and let them get on with actually teaching rather than constantly having to report back to government what it is that they're doing on an almost minute-by-minute basis.
Gareth, reducing the teacher workload through digital savviness?
Yeah, well, that would be good if it was actually happening. I remember sitting on an inquiry where we still weren't teaching our teachers how to use technology in teachers' training school. I mean, that's ridiculous. That started at the beginning.
So more money for training then?
Absolutely.
Yeah, but sorry, Wallace, hang on. If you go and look at the discussion document, they've put in another piece of paperwork. Among all the other assessments, they've now put in another assessment. Somebody's got to challenge Nikki Kay on this. Somebody who knows what they're talking about has got to really ask these questions.
Matt, your panel is totally underwhelmed. What do you say to that? It's basically just renaming.
I think we're getting ahead of the curve as a country, and we're giving young people what they want. I've got a 3-year-old daughter, a 1.5-year-old son. They're already Skyping their grandparents in Hungary every day. They're going to be using digital technology in a way that we can't even conceive at the moment.
We're actually well behind the curve. We're not getting ahead of the curve, we're well behind it. Actually, the countries that are well ahead of us have ditched standardisation completely and have actually gone back to a much broader focus on education and on giving kids the opportunity to grow and learn.
Is that what Labour would do if elected? All right,
absolutely.
Let's go to Charlotte.
Wallace, guess who I've just spotted in the audience? Chloe Sawbrook, who is very digitally savvy. Chloe. It's so nice to have you here in your official role as Green Party, running for the Green Party. Tell me though, should every child have an iPad? Should the government buy an iPad for every child in New Zealand at school?
I think perhaps that's the wrong question to be asking. We need to be investigating why teacher numbers are dropping in terms of the teachers that are coming through training colleges. We need to be addressing the fact that right now class sizes are growing. And I think that the best thing to do, actually, in terms of talking about increasing the quality of education that our kids are getting, it's increasing teacher numbers. That's how we'll decrease the teaching load. But I kind of want to know, iPad, yes or no? Because
Like, I know that you are very, very savvy on social media, and it's helped, you know, become very well known in a sense. So kids need to know how to work technology well, and the problems with it as well as the good things.
Well, yeah, but it's a lot more complex than that, I think. Like, essentially, the fundamental underlying thing that you're talking about there is, do we want all kids to become influencers, or whatever that means? I mean, sure, there is a changing nature of work, but it's just not that simplistic, and we cannot replace teachers with technology.
Thank you, Chloe. Nice to have you here.
Good, good to have you here. Around the panel, I mean, are you tech savvy?
I think I am, but, you know, I think that there are other people who are much more tech savvy than me.
What about you?
Yeah, I'm a woman, man. I know everything. Yeah.
What do you do? Really, what do you do?
Oh, because women became those that had typing skills. We moved into the digital information era much faster than men did. So, mate, I can do publisher, I can do everything, I can do anything you need digitally, I can handle it for you.
All right, what about you, Matt? Are you tech savvy?
Probably not as much as I should be, but I must say, Wallace, it's a bit unfair having those bright young candidates breathing down our neck up here.
Yeah, it's frightening, Matt. Absolutely. Well said. What about you? Are you tech savvy, Gareth?
No, I don't know. I'm one of that new generation they've just invented, Xennial. You know, I remember queuing up for a computer at university.
What's that?
Well, it's in between the Generation X and millennials. You know, I remember having to write out essays, whereas, you know, young people today, they get to do it all on a computer.
Oh, yeah. Hey, look, do stay with us. Next up on Backbenchers, is it time to make drugs a health issue? Hashtag Backbenchers.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.